real quick, I'm gonna say one word that is going to tell you everything you need to know about this episode. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Family. But wait, there's more. This is not gonna be the conversation you think it's gonna be. Roll the intro.
Like diamonds, I'm watching how you glow.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy AJ here, coming through your TV screen, your phone screen, your laptop screen, and beyond. Soak it up. Wait for it. How you bloody doing, mate? First off, I love you. Secondly, as I said in the intro, not gonna be what you think it is. I want to be more specific about that vague intro I gave you. I know, I can be a teaser. Before we get into that, I want to say something. This series is meant to give you a complete inside look of why I am me. How me became me. With that understood, the experiences I tell you aren't always gonna be good. Some of them are great, some of them are funny, some of them are interesting, and some of them are, like in this episode, traumatic. Today, I want to have a sensitive subject talked about, and it's sensitive particular from me. Your experience might be a little bit different, but I'm speaking how I experienced it. And today I want to discuss. I mixed the word up, I'm sorry. Today I want to discuss why and how I came to walk away and gave up on the idea and the ideology of family. I told you this wasn't going to be the conversation you think it is. Now, let me start off by saying what you hear in this story is going to be a very bad depiction of my family, my extended family to be specific. When I say extended family, everyone outside of my direct family, which is my uncles, aunts, cousins, those people. There is a conversation that I will have with you pertaining to my direct family, but I'm just not ready to have that yet. That's a little bit further down. But for today, I want to discuss family, extended. No, first of all, whatever I speak to you about in this conversation is my experience pertaining to my family then. When I was growing up, when I was a child, when I was a kid. It is not a depiction of what my family is today. Whatever I say to you in this illustration is not for your ultimate judgment of what you think my family is or the kind of people you think they are. I've never judged them for the decisions they have made, they are making, and they will make. I don't think I'm the person to do that. So I whatever decisions they've made when I was a child, That's between them and their God when they die. I want to give you the story of how I actually gave up and walked away from my family, everyone in my family. So in previous videos, when I used to when I first started the series, I had said in the video that there's a boy band group that I used to sing in, and then when I was in high school. That group is called the Schoolboys, and we used to have a manager, which coincidentally was also our principal, and we used to go all over Jamaica and sing and perform and do what we loved. No, there was one particular day where we had a performance. Now, that performance was supposed to be done with a lot of very important people. So we were supposed to go to a community, and they had this service, and the Prime Minister of Jamaica was at the service, and we were the musical guests at that service. So we sang in front of the Prime Minister, and yeah, that sort of thing. No, leading up to that performance, we were supposed to meet up at a central location, and then we were supposed to be driven or escorted to the function for I'm assuming at the time security reasons, because we could have all individually found our way there, but they arranged for us to get picked up at a central location and get driven to the service. No, here's where the story gets a little bit tricky. No, while at the central location, we all met up at the same place, and we were there, and we were waiting for whoever was to pick us up. The twist to the plot that I didn't know is that the person that was supposed to pick us up was actually my aunt. My aunt at the time was heavily involved in getting the service together. She was a part of putting all the different performances that were on the program. She was one of the main organizers, and she was also the person that was going to pick us up and take us to the function. She didn't know, I didn't know, that we were going to cross paths that day. That day was the first time I saw my aunt, if I'm not mistaken, in probably 2 years, roundabout. I don't want to exaggerate, it's roughly about that, round about 2 years since I had seen her. So when I saw her that day, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, because I wasn't expecting it. Me and my family at that time, as a unit, and again, I'm talking about my extended family, as a unit, the relationship between me and my extended family was not the strongest. If you ask me, it was really terrible. But, like I said, whatever depiction I'm giving you is not to make them look bad. This is me telling you my experience with my own family. So we were there, and we were all at the central location, so we were killing time, and we were just going over the different songs we were supposed to sing. And here comes the car that was supposed to pick us up. So the car pulled up, I'm standing on the driver's side, and the car pulled into it was like a parking location. So it pulled in, And my aunt was right there in the driver's seat. Here's where the story gets a little bit depressing. So, she pulled up, we were there, we introduced ourselves. She introduced herself, right? And she was like, "Are you the schoolboys?" Yada yada yada. And we were like, "Yeah." And she started in the car. We stood outside for around about 2 to 3 minutes and having a conversation. In that moment, I'm having a conversation with my own aunt, and in that moment, she did not recognize who I was. Ouch. So, I want you to let that sink in for a little bit. My father's sister did not recognize her own nephew. So, we were there, we had the conversation, we were talking. 2 to 3 minutes in was when it actually clicked. And the only reason it clicked was because I said her name. Somewhere in the conversation, I made the mistake to say her name. And poof, she was like, "AJ, is that you?" "Yes, it's me." "Oh my God, I didn't even realize." I think we both understood that you didn't realize who your nephew was. Ouch. Now, see, me telling you this story, it's years and years of me dealing with that moment. And in that moment, when we had that conversation, we got in the car, did the function, went back home. I sat in my house, on my bed. I stared at the ceiling, and that was the moment I gave up on the ideology and the idea of family. Now you're probably gonna ask me, well, why did you let that bother you so much? First off, it's my aunt. That's my brother's sister. For you to not know what your brother's child looks like is a very stark description of what the relationship between you and your brother is like. Okay, let's throw that aside. 2, the fact that I have to do something out of the norm to make you actually realize that you're speaking to your nephew tells me that you are so far high on a pedestal and you are so ahead of the crowd. You so far ahead in life that you've created such a distance behind you that you've forgotten what the people behind you look like. Okay, that's one theory. I know this all sounds bad, but like I said, what I'm saying to you is not me saying they're bad people. Jamaica is a very cruel place, and I would want to tell you it's the land of wood and water, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and it is all those things. But my experience with the country that I was born and raised in is a horrible one. So I'm not gonna be one of those Jamaicans or one of those people that say, "Hey, it's a great place." I will tell you it's a beautiful culture. No doubt, hands down. It's also a very violent and cruel place. I say that to say this. Everyone on that piece of land at some point in time is going to get put in the position of stepping on the people below you, in front of you, next to you, around you to survive. That is the country that I live in for most of my childhood. It's one of those places where things get really cruel really fast. So, in the moment of my family doing things and making the decisions they thought were best for them, a lot of things they've done and a lot of things about the relationship between me and them really hurts me to my soul. But as I grew older, I became wiser and I understand. That's why I don't judge people. The fact that I stood in front of my own aunt for 3 to 5 minutes and she did not know who I was. In that moment, I realized how disconnected as a family we were, and I thought since we were so far disconnected, I might as well completely sever that connection. And that was the last time I perceived my family as a family. Now, even till today, in my head, they're just people. The word relative or the word family is not something I use, because I can list to you a very long list of bad experiences I've had with my family, but it's not their fault. Like you get put in positions where it's you or them or you. I would completely understand if you chose you and not them. That was mostly the situation. Here is the irony. And when I say irony, I mean also karma. No, when I say this, if you're my family member and you're watching this, you're automatically gonna know who I'm talking about. Years after this happened, kept it to myself. I didn't tell anybody. I then found out that this very same aunt got diagnosed with cancer. And she got diagnosed with cancer the first time. She got rid of it, it came back. She got rid of it, it came back. That's the way life works. Until today, when I think about the way my life played out, I sometimes I get angry at the processes you have to go through as a person to become the person you're meant to be, because those processes can be really traumatic and painful. Long story short, the very same aunt that did not recognize me as a child. Fast forward, the first time I went back to Jamaica after coming here, was when I got the news that she's on her last leg. And this time they don't think she's gonna survive. Went down to Jamaica, saw my family, had a very traumatic conversation with my aunt. You know why it was traumatic? Because as she was on the phone with me, that cancer had gotten so bad that she at one point did not quite recognize who she was talking to. Which goes back to the day I decided to walk away. See how life rotates and spins around? It can be... And then after having that conversation, I left Jamaica, and then a couple days after, I got the news that she passed away, which was way more painful than when she was alive, because she passed away without me ever getting any type of closure as to why the relationship between us was the way it was. Life is a little bit weird, and it works in mysterious ways. Do I think my family are bad people? No, I don't. I think they have made bad decisions. I think they've made decisions that I would consider cruel. But again, Jamaica is not the kind of place where you can make good decisions all the time. So again, and this is just one out of many different. Anyway, I'm out here. There's another side to this story. There's another side to all of this, and I want to give you some inspirational advice through my pain. We gonna take a stroll, and I'll be right back. I gotta get my spirits up. I'll be right back. Okay.
Baby, I need it and I ain't shy. Put my lips all on you. Your style's so luscious and that's no lie. I'll match that swagger. Your waistline grooving and you so fly. Shudder like a dagger. A perfect picture is you and I. Them haters stagger. Baby, you be so fine. And I love the way you whine. Your flex and keep me in line. So lock and key be your mind. I love the way you shine. And I wanna wine and dine. Baby, you had me at hello. Oh, baby, you had me at hello. Hello, hello. I'm going anywhere you go. That's sexy, but you wanna smash it on the low. Hello, like diamonds, I'm watching how you glow. Baby, you had me at hello. I'm going anywhere you go. I wanna smash it on the low. Like diamonds, I'm watching how you glow.
So, told you the story of how I came to walk away from the concept and the ideology of family. Again, I want to stress, I really want to stress this, because it's easy for anyone to watch a family go south. It's very easy for anybody to cast judgment. I'm asking you not to do that, because that's not why I'm making this video. I just wanted you to understand the things that make me who I am. You know what's the interesting thing about all of it is that there's a part of me that cherishes that ideology I once walked away from. As I grew older, I've learned to cherish instead of walking away and throwing away the idea, because I realized that eventually I want to have a family of my own. And if I don't cherish that ideology, my pain is going to repeat itself through my children and their children. So my perspective on family has changed since then. I actually have come to regret that decision years ago, because I came to regret it after my aunt passed away, because I didn't get closure, and I thought to myself, maybe if I had tried a build a better relationship. I even reached out to them and say, hey, how are you? Are you okay? Because everybody goes through things. And they were probably going through some stuff. Obviously, they were, because it's cancer. So they had their stuff to deal with. And I don't expect you to carry everyone's burdens on your shoulders. Everybody has their own problems. So I totally understand that. What I want to inspire you to do is, if you've ever come across any type of scenario that can relate to mine, if you've ever lived through any scenario that's relatable to this, my advice to you is don't walk away. Don't give up on the ideology or the concept. Things happen for a reason. Everything, even when it doesn't make sense, why you have to experience that pain, it has a reason. That's one of the things I've learned. As nonsensical as things may seem in my life, if that's a word, as nonsensical as things may seem and things may get, everything happens for a reason. And I've grown to understand that. So I've regretted that decision of walking away, because walking away is what took away my ability and my chance to get closure. So with that said, I wouldn't encourage you to give up or walk away. If you have to step away from your family members for a while to get yourself back to that peaceful state, do that. But don't completely walk away. I wouldn't advise you. I would understand if you did, but I'm saying don't. Okay? Work through it. Everybody's human. With that said, I love you. You see this big heart right here? I love you so much. And I didn't want to give you extremely fine details of the scenario to protect the identity of all the different people involved. I don't want to throw people's names out there or anything like that, but I tried my best to give you the story as best as I can. So that's that. With that said, big heart, I love you. Until next time, it's your boy AJ. I am signing out. Peace out.